There are a number of binding methods you can use to prepare your book block for casing in with our covers. Sewing the pages together is common but requires a large initial startup cost. Using a manual 2-hole punch and screw posts will give you a sturdy book block that works perfectly with our covers. We suggest the Office Depot number 825307. This one works fine and will create a hole 4/16 in diameter that sits very nicely with the standard 3/16 inch screw posts. Okay, you will need to prepare your hole punch in advance to make sure that the hole is approximately 1/16 of an inch or less away from the edge of your paper. What we've done is taken a couple of pieces of chipboard and some tape. Just taped it on the sides there. Our end sheets come in a variety of sizes. Now, whether you use our end sheets or some from a different supplier or ones that you've made yourself, we do recommend that you pre-trim the end sheets before adding them to whatever method of binding you are going to use. Unless, of course, you do plan on face trimming the entire book block after it's been bound together. Okay, now it's time to punch the holes along the spine of the paper using the punch. First thing to remember, of course, is end sheets. Need a set of end sheets to put on the front and back of the book so you can attach the book block to the cover with. We provide end sheets with the covers if you want, or if you have your own method of applying end sheets, then that works just as well if you're using wet glue or whatever. Ours are pre-adhesive. They have the adhesive backing on them with a protective cover, much like a bumper sticker. Now let's get started. Make sure the spine portion of the end sheet, of course, is lined up with the spine of the book. And start punching. What I usually do, because we need to make sure that the pages stay in order from the beginning of the process to the end. So I will take a small stack of paper, and we usually use a small tab to make sure to remind us where the top of the book is. Whatever system you have works fine. And we'll place in pages in the end sheet. Make sure everything is lined up. And punch. Flip it around. Keep it jogged. And again, punch. That takes care of the first set, and always make sure and use a repetitive pattern of some sort that will allow you to remember exactly where everything goes. More set here. Okay, last couple of pages done here. And the end sheet that goes on the end of the book. Okay. And that gives us a complete book block, punched all the way through along the spine, and ready for the final step, which would be the screw posts. Okay, these are the screw posts that we use. You can locate screw posts like these in most scrapbooking, hobby supply stores, places along that lines. They're basically, like the name implies, a screw and a post. Now the only flaw with these is that the heads are slightly wider than the space we have available on the spine, and they'll interfere with the edge of the spine or the fold of the hinge. So what we do is just take a simple pair of pliers or wire cutters and trim off a little bit from either side. They're aluminum, so it only takes a second. And this makes them just the right size for using with the book. As I said, they're very simple to trim and won't really interfere with your timetable too much. Okay, now that I've got the heads and tails trimmed appropriately, this is the final stage, which is inserting your screw posts into the spine. Make sure that the trimmed edges are all lined up appropriately so that they don't interfere with the edge of the book. Again, flip the book over, exposing the screw holes, and insert your screw heads. At this point, once you get them in, you'll need your pliers and screwdriver again to hold them all together. And that should take care of that. Okay, and just finally grab a hold of the book with your pliers and finish tightening them down so you can make sure everything stays lined up appropriately as you tighten down. You don't want it too loose. But just remember, the edges of these are sharp. Not only can they cut you, they can also tear up your end sheets, which is not a good thing. So we will just tighten them down just enough to hold the book securely. There. Without tearing anything apart. And there you have it. One finished book block ready for the cover.